What's up, A to Z Sports live on a Tuesday. Gonna have a good show talking about Will Levis's growth, a little Brian Callahan press conference from yesterday. But the main meat of the show today is gonna be about the wins the Titans picked up over the weekend, not in Los Angeles, but yes, in the draft order race. And we're gonna watch the draft order. We'll discuss this and go through a couple ways the Titans did prevail on the football field in the draft order race. But Will Levis's growth is important at this point with what Brian Callahan said. Zach and I got a little bit of chance to talk about Will Levis yesterday, not in a full segment like we had kind of hoped. But Sam, you and Easton had a spirited conversation in the post-game show that I thought was very entertaining. And I know Easton will probably walk back some of the things that he said, whether it's Thursday or tomorrow, Thursday or Friday on the show when he's on. But we're going to have a really good conversation here about Will Levis's growth, the NFL draft order, and then have a throw-in shade topic that is going to be more than just throwing shade. We're actually going to have a discussion about this because I am very passionate about it. I think it's very stupid. I think this person displayed the behavior of an idiot. And so we'll talk about that towards the end of the show, as we always do on a Tuesday, throwing shade. But Sam, welcome in. You on a Tuesday here, which is rare, and you were also on prime time on a Monday. It's because you're hitting the road going to Oxford to go to Zach's neck of the woods, Ole Miss, because you've got a Survivor 47 event tonight. So after the official open of the show, I'll let you kind of plug that a little bit for anybody who's maybe available to pop in. I don't know any details, but tell the people what they got to do here first.
Yeah, well, you got to like the show. Just Smash said he would like it when we start the show. Well, the show started, so it's time to like. It's time to hit the thumbs up, and it's time to share the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, take the YouTube link, send it to a friend, a Titans fan, a group chat. You can hit the retweet button on Twitter/X and just repost it, get it out on the feed. You can hit the share button on Facebook in the bottom right corner and make sure your Facebook friends are seeing the fact that A to Z Sports is live, having some good conversations about Will Levis, good conversations about the NFL draft, and Austin calling people an idiot. So what's not to love?
I pulled the buck rising. I pulled the buck rising, displaying the behavior of an idiot.
The behavior. Austin will be pointing out the behavior of an idiot later on in the show. So get the word out that people need to come tune in and see what the heck he's talking about. But that's what we got for you in store. Going to be a great show here on a Tuesday morning.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon, WilsonCountyHyundai.com, the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans and start it by getting a quote for your health assessment today, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And TDOT, help TDOT keep Tennessee beautiful by visiting their campaign to help find the solution to littering. Nobody trashes Tennessee.com. So a couple things, housekeeping, before we dive into the Will Levis growth conversation, NFL draft victories for the Titans, and who I think was displaying the behavior of an idiot. One, hey, Facebook commenters are back. How about that? Good morning, Scott. We can see Scott. We can see Lane. Can we talk about the fact the offense starts out so good, then falls apart? Maybe later. And then Pistol Ramsey. How about the Bears picking 10th again there, Sam? So the good thing, Facebook comments are back. That's great. That was very annoying over the weekend, but it got figured out. The other thing, Sam, is that you were headed to Oxford, Mississippi at Ole Miss. And you're doing a little Survivor 47 event. So kind of tell the people what you got going on tonight.
Yeah, listen, hey, if you are in the area of Oxford, Mississippi, or maybe Memphis, Tennessee, or maybe you're down in Huntsville, Alabama, or wherever, Birmingham, even here in Nashville, if you want to make the drive because you got nothing going on today, go sign up. You can go to my Instagram story and my Twitter account right now, and you can find a link to sign up. But CBS is putting on an event at Ole Miss on the campus of the University of Mississippi with a live early screening of the next episode of Survivor. So we will watch. I will be there. Some other former Survivor players and current Survivor players will be there. And it's an early screening of the episode. So episode airs tomorrow on CBS, but you can watch it tonight, get to participate in all kinds of other things too. So if it's drivable for you, go drive down to Ole Miss. Doors are gonna open at 6:30 for the event. So quick plug, if you guys are close, go sign up with the link that's on my Twitter and Instagram account. Get yourself a ticket to that and show up. It's free to show up.
Yep. So there you go. Pretty cool. So Sam, you'll be making it back for Titans practice on a Wednesday. So quick turnaround trip for you. Headed to Ole Miss, maybe see where Zach Bingham once walks the streets, maybe going to class half the time. I don't know. Zach, not exactly the best student. That's been well documented. Neither was I. So, all right. So let's dive into the Will Levis growth conversation. Before I play a clip from Brian Callahan talking about the overall growth from Will Levis, that press conference yesterday, Sam, was very heavy Levis for like the first 12 minutes of it. What was kind of your overview and thoughts on a lot of things that Callahan said yesterday about his quarterback that came back after an injury?
Real quick, Brian Coburn says he lives right next to Oxford. Brian,
I better see you there.
Go to my Twitter account right now. I just come up to me, say, hey, it's Brian from the morning show today. I'll see you tonight, and we'll hang out. It'll be fun. First 12 minutes of the press conference, very Will Levis heavy. Not a huge surprise to be so Will Levis heavy, Austin. I think when the football team is 2-7 and when there's a lot of unexciting things going on elsewhere, that, the return of your starting quarterback, your young starting quarterback, is going to be the center of attention. And that seems to be all anybody really wants to talk about this week, and rightfully so. My takeaway from Callahan, I thought he was positive, like a little bit more positive, like skewed more towards me. If you want to go back towards our post-game show, me and Easton kind of on two sides of the fence assessing the play of Will Levis. I felt like Callahan was more in lockstep with my perspective on it than with Easton and with some of the other Titans fans that I had seen in our chat. Obviously some things to work on. People talked about pocket presence, taking sacks, all of those things. But I was really intrigued by how Brian Callahan described some of that and said that sacks are not on one player. It's more of an offensive issue as a whole. So sure, there might be a moment here or two that you would like Will to get rid of the ball, but those are things that we're going to work through with a young quarterback as he plays more football. The same way you might have to teach a quarterback, now's not the time to try and fit that ball into that window. Take your sack. We'll kick our field goal. We're good. You also have to teach your quarterback, hey, now's not the time to hold the ball an extra second and try and get that route to break deep down the field. Now's the time that the ball needs to go and get out of your hand. And if that's a throwaway, that's a throwaway. But overall, I think Brian Callahan saw a lot of the things that I saw and that some Titans fans out there saw, which was a version of Will Levis that protected the football, was efficient as a passer, created some explosive plays with his arm, knew when to take off and run. And all of those things are positives. And so in a flawed game that was not perfect, I think you can take the bones of what Will Levis did on Sunday afternoon and feel really optimistic about where he's going, at least from the version of him that we saw early in the year. Now, I will say the Will Levis I saw on Sunday was the Will Levis I was expecting and hoping to see week one. Like it was an imperfect, but sprinkles of really good in there that you feel like you can develop and work with moving forward. The question of why it's so difficult is because it emerged so late. It emerges in week 10 now that you're limited in how much, you're actually going to be able to see from him the rest of the way. But, overall, a good week for Will.
Yeah, so here's Brian Callahan on Will Levis's growth that he saw. And this was actually answering, Sam, your question from yesterday's press.
You're going to miss throws, and you're going to miss opportunities, and that's just how it goes. You're not going to hit every one of them. There's going to be guys that come open that your feet get taken away, your timing's off, and you got to move on. And it's like, oh, if we just would have hit that. But, what's happening in the pocket or how the coverage dictates or what the quarterback sees is not always going to be after the fact. It looks maybe more open than it was to him in the moment. So those aren't things that I spend too much time on. You just try to point it out and correct it and move on if there's something that can be corrected. But I saw growth in Will's play in this game. I really did. There was improvement. There's part of playing quarterback that for the most part can be pretty boring, and that's probably 80% of playing quarterback is doing the normal, mundane, ordinary things consistently well. And then there's a time and a place where your talent has to take over, and that's a big throw, the touchdown, for example. 2 or 3 of those throws, you saw Will's talent, his ability to fit the ball in a tight window accurately, taking off and running, using his feet, using his legs. Those things were all really good to see, and I feel like that's an improvement from where we were to where we are now. And we got another stiff challenge this week against the Vikings for him to show even more of that. And that's just the way it is. There's going to be give and take moments that are good, and there's going to be some that you got to keep coaching. And but I was pleased with what he showed in that game overall.
Overall, very pleased, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like that was a pretty optimistic. And that you said he was answering my question. My question that led to that was talking about, the version of Will Levis we saw at the beginning of the year was this version that you had to be like, nope, protect the football. Nope, not there. And would you rather see that version of Will Levis or the guy who is efficient as a passer? And, you would maybe a couple of instances would have liked to see him get the ball out quicker. I think Brian Callahan obviously says with confidence there that this is a version that's much more valuable and something that you can work with a lot more.
All right, so I'm going to go. I haven't really given my full thoughts. I have opinions about this because I thought, Sam, something you said was this is the Will Levis you were expecting to see in week 1 in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, they just fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. So that's a win for you?
That is the biggest win. I mean, that man belongs in Azkaban. Like,
in Azkaban.
Lock him up.
I feel like there was some Shane Waldron optimism back in the summer from Sam after the Caleb Williams draft pick. Am I misremembering?
No, I was optimistic with Shane Waldron. With the style of offense he liked to run in Seattle was very play action heavy, which I really thought would play to Caleb Williams' strengths. I don't know where that's been, to be honest with you, because they just don't throw the ball down the field. It's like run, 3rd and 8, a bunch of flat routes. They've got no creative passing concepts. Guys don't get open. Caleb Williams will sit in the pocket for 5 seconds and just being like, be a pocket passer, Caleb, be a pocket passer, Caleb. And then nobody gets open and they've got problems. Shane Waldron, rough. And now former Titans head coach candidate Thomas Brown now going to be the play caller for the Chicago Bears. So whole coaching staff has to go. But yeah, Chris said run, screen. That is literally what the Bears have been trying to run for the last 3 weeks. Tell me why Cole Kmet can have like 9 catches for 100 yards in like 3 straight games and then get targeted twice in 3 weeks and just not become part of the offense anymore. He takes things and is like, well, that works. Okay, let's try something different.
I think it's hilarious. You just sent him to Azkaban and he said, the Wizards prison, that's harsh.
No, yeah. See ya, war criminal, Azkaban.
To Azkaban. That just caught me off guard. All right, so I guess how do people feel? How does the audience feel about Brian Callahan being so optimistic about Will Levis's growth against the Chargers? That's what I want to dive into because I've got thoughts on it as well. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plan. Speaking of growth, they can help you out with your potentially growing family. If you've got a growing family, if you and your spouse have plans to grow your family, you need to make sure you have that best coverage possible for you, whether it is your family plan or maybe it's just you out there fighting the world as an individual, independent contractor, entrepreneur, and you don't want to go to the marketplace for health coverage. Farm Bureau Health Plans is the place to go. They've been serving Tennesseans for 78 years, and they can do 2 things for you. They can improve your health coverage and lower the rate for that better health coverage. That's hard to do, but it is the best of both worlds. Zach did it. I've mentioned Zach a couple times on the show, but he saved 20% per month on his coverage 3 years ago when he signed up. Other A to Z employees have done it. My parents jumped on as they entered the next stage of their life as empty nesters a few years ago. So make sure that you can check them out. If you're looking about, man, we should probably better our health coverage, do that with Farm Bureau Health Plans by going and visiting our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up, and your first bet is risk-free. Whatever your first bet wager amount is, that amount can go back into your account in the form of a bonus bet up to $1,500 if it loses. That's the best way to do sports betting. When your first bet, you got 2 chances to win big. So use that bonus code ATOZ Sports and start doing your betting with the sportsbook born in Vegas at BetMGM.com.
All right, so how do you feel about Will Levis and his growth versus the Chargers? I think for me, it's frustrating because Brian Callahan's not wrong. There's growth there, but it's such incremental growth that I really don't know what difference it's going to make for this organization. And I guess it was last week, you and Easton had the topic of what does Will Levis have to do this season to earn another year as the starter? And I thought your answer was kind of along what I would have answered, which is he has to help the Titans win enough games to make it that much more difficult to replace him. And, Easton went very extreme with you got to do like Jordan Love did the second half of last year. Well, Sunday's game did neither of those paths. You lost a game that I think if you were going to win 5 games, you probably got to beat the Chargers. They didn't. So now you've got to win 5 games and out of 8, if that's the spot to put them in a spot to not draft the quarterback. So I think it's such small progress that I really just don't know if it matters. For this team, maybe Will Levis can become the next Geno Smith, Sam Darnold that revives his career with his 3rd team in the league in 3 years from now. But I think for this team, it's going to continue to be frustrating to watch because it's like a constant yo-yo of overcorrection, right? It's be so wild and insecure with the football and you hurt your team by making crazy plays, and then you just go all the way over and you protect the ball too much. You take too many sacks. You hang on to the ball for 4 seconds a couple times, and it's just trying to go back and forth with that yo-yo to find the right level of aggressive and safe. And I think one thing that I was thinking when I watched the post-game show with you guys was that was the safest game that Will Levis had played. It was boring, which I think is why that frustrated Easton, because he wanted to see more. He wanted to see that first drive more throughout the game.
But Brian Callahan does say, right, in that video that we played, what do you say, 90% of quarterback is boring?
It's 80, he said 80% was his number. Yeah, 80% of quarterback is boring. Which
is true in a lot of ways.
If you're including getting the play from your headset, going in the huddle, calling it, lining up right. If you include that in 100%.
Well, in most plays, if you are in a and I would totally agree that this is true. If you watch a good offense that functions at a high level, or a quarterback, watch late Tom Brady and what he did with the Bucs or with the Patriots in his later years. It is boring as hell to watch. I mean, it's Tom gets the ball, 1-2 read, check down, gain of 6. Tom hands the ball off, they gain 4, pick up a first down. Tom throws to his tight end over the middle, gain of 8. It's not exciting stuff. It's not exceptional stuff. And then there are moments where the talent takes over and you do something exceptional. But most of the time, it is just doing the boring stuff well enough. And I would say that for me, I think Will, for the most part, did a lot of the boring stuff well enough in that game. The issue that I think people have is what you said earlier. In order for Will to move the needle for this fan base and for the organization as a whole to remain the guy in 2025, you either have to be off the charts exceptional or do boring stuff and win football games. But if Will Levis repeats this performance, this exact performance every game for the rest of the year, I mean, you're still talking about you would be talking about a second half where he throws 16 touchdowns and no interceptions, and they might still lose a bunch of games and replace him in the offseason.
That follows, if he does that, which it's not going to happen, right? Then that means he ends the season with 21 touchdowns. So 10, 11, 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
Let's just add a couple interceptions just for fun. That fits my preseason criteria for him to be the guy.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but then like, I think so Easton asked Callahan a question. I didn't pull the video because we didn't plan on it, but about like, it was the rollout sack he took where he missed a player. He didn't throw the ball away. And he was like, which would you rather have? I think is what Easton asked. And, Callahan was like, well, it's kind of a play-by-play thing. You can't just like have a blanket statement rule about what the quarterback should do.
Right.
It's knowing the situation in every situation and making the correct decision for that situation. And sometimes the correct decision is to take a sack. Sometimes the correct decision is to throw the ball in the third row. And sometimes the decision is to air it out to Calvin Ridley or fit the football in a tight window to NWI because it's on time. And it just seems like Will Levis struggles to fit that right decision situationally. And that's where it's just like the analysis is so elementary for me. But Will Levis he's a constant tease of a quarterback because he looks good, he throws good, he makes big plays, he's got the mobility, he can run for yards successfully, but he just doesn't have full grasp of the situational football that a quarterback has to excel at.
I would agree with that, but I would add one word. Yet. Right? He doesn't have a full grasp of situational football yet. And this is something that I brought up on primetime last night, and I'll continue to bring up, and I know it's going to get ready, chat, for the preemptive eye roll. Will Levis is still a rookie in football games.
No, he's not. No.
He is, though,
no,
Austin. I mean,
the
one thing that you can do as Brian Callahan had said, the one way that you're able to learn some of that situational football is by playing football.
Yes.
And when you have only played and started 13 games in the NFL, you've only played 13 games worth of football. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that there are going to be these ebbs and flows of like learning some of those in-game situations. Okay. And that to me is where I feel like people are at with Will Levis right now, is that people are impatient. And whether I'm not saying it's right or wrong to be impatient, but I think objectively people are excited by the idea of a quarterback at the top of the draft. People are frustrated by the fact that the team is losing. And I think both of those things are sort of masking us and putting us with these anti-Levis goggles on, where we look for problems in his play that are honestly marginal and not significant. And I do believe the same way Brian Callahan believes that if you there is absolutely a realistic scenario where you double the amount of games Will Levis has played in his career, which would be by week 4 of next season. He will have played like double the games that he has currently played right now, assuming he can stay healthy, or week 5 of next season, whatever it is. It's right around there. That you've seen that you would see significant jumps in his ability to play situational football. And that to me, right, it is one game and we have to see how he responds here moving forward. But when you look at how much of an issue the turnovers and putting the ball in danger was early in the year, and to see a change in Will Levis to not do that at all on Sunday does make me feel a little bit more optimistic than not that he's going to be able to make other adjustments to his play as well.
Okay. Well, I agree with the majority of everything. I agree with everything except for the fact that you called him a rookie, because he is not a rookie. He is inexperienced, but he is not a rookie.
I mean,
there is a massive difference, because did
not participate in training camp as a rookie.
He missed time, but
he played like 10 days of training camp. Got hurt.
Is Trey Lance a rookie?
No.
Okay. Therefore, Will Levis is not a rookie.
But Trey Lance is a backup for 5 years now, or 4 years now.
3 years. But he is not a rookie.
Will Levis,
Jordan Love was not a rookie in his third season in the NFL.
I think there's absolutely an argument that
they can be like we have to drop.
Will Levis is also
rookie.
he was
it's fair
injury,
to call him
it's
inexperienced.
injury based. It's injury based though, Austin.
For who?
It's Will. It's
so
not.
What,
it's
it
not somebody that's been. It's not somebody that's been taking practice reps as a backup. It's somebody who was unable to take practice reps, unable to take game reps, who does not have the same level of development as some of these other quarterbacks.
I'm fine with giving Will Levis grace in the big picture because of his inexperience, but he is not a rookie. He is a inexperienced quarterback in his second year in the NFL. That is fair. And everything you said after that is fair, but we have to stop calling him a rookie because he is not that. He is not that. There are so many rookies out there. Here's the thing though. JJ McCarthy, when he comes back, that I can see you saying, okay, this is his rookie season because he got hurt in training camp that had a knee surgery that had him on IR for the whole year. Like that is a circumstance where his rookie year got punted, like Blake Griffin in the NBA. But he is an inexperienced quarterback. He's not a rookie. Go ahead and just make sure we eliminate that from the conversation of Will Levis. He's fine as an inexperienced quarterback label. That is good enough. So I think the big picture is, does it matter for this team? Is he going to run out of time for this team? That's what we don't know, because the flip side of the conversation, Sam, if you're ready to move forward with the
hang
show,
on. I'm looking at something real quick.
Okay.
Will Levis has played about 200, so about 3 games more snaps in his entire NFL career than Caleb Williams.
Okay.
That is the level of inexperience that you were looking at, and that is what I'm saying, is that his experience level is that of a rookie quarterback right now. But
he has an off season where you know what you're doing. Like there is a difference. Like everybody learns a lot in their professional lives and whatever job you have by doing something for the second time. And that is what being a second-year player in the NFL does. You have a full off season to go into a second training camp for a second season, whether your role changes or not. You learn from those experiences, therefore you're not a rookie. So I think the idea of it is he's an inexperienced quarterback. He's not a rookie quarterback. So anyway, all right. The hard thing for Will Levis is that the Titans are very, very likely to pick high in the NFL draft, because the Titans did get a couple wins on Sunday. They got 3 wins over the weekend because the NFL entered this past week with 9 2-loss teams. And now there are 5 2-loss teams. 5 2-loss teams. The Jags, the Giants, the Titans, the Browns, and the Raiders, after the Patriots get a win, the New Orleans Saints get a win over the Giants. So there was going to be 1 team guaranteed for that. But the Carolina Panthers got a win, and the Miami Dolphins last night also getting a win. I think this is a big deal because specifically for the Patriots and the Dolphins, 2 teams, the only 2 teams the Tennessee Titans have beat, now have more wins than the Titans. So Jacksonville, the Giants, the Titans, the Browns, and then the Las Vegas Raiders are all sitting there at 2 wins. And the Titans, because they have the weakest strength of schedule, which is also good because the Titans will forever play the Jets, the Patriots, and the Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars twice. So the Titans' strength of schedule is going to be bad, right? So that means they're going to get some tiebreakers in some draft order conversations because those teams on the schedule are going to be bad and continue to be bad. So I want to ask this question to get the chat involved here. Which other NFL team concerns you most to ruin the Titans draft pick situation? So which other NFL team concerns you most? I'll put it back on the screen. Which of these NFL teams concern you most to ruin the Titans draft pick situation? I'm not going to limit it to 2-win teams. You can pick up anybody in the league right there. So which of those teams concerns you most? But first, I'm going to tell you guys about the Bone & Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, got to turn to the Bone & Joint Institute. Make sure you don't just sit on that injury and just have it linger, have it become worse. Maybe you have an injury from your past that's crept back up as you got older. Like, man, that shoulder's really bothered me from when I was a kid and I did this thing. Go get it checked out again. The Bone and Joint Institute can help you out. They have all the resources and the experts under one roof right there in Franklin, Tennessee, off I-65, next to Williamson Medical Center on Highway 96. They can take care of you just like they have for me over the years. boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM is the sportsbook born in Vegas, and with the bonus code ATOZ Sports, when you sign up, you can get up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. Whatever your first bet wager amount is, that amount goes back into your account. You get a second chance to win big when you sign up with BetMGM using this bonus code ATOZ Sports. Do your sports betting for NFL, NHL, NBA, and college basketball, which we are so back, by the way, with college basketball. With the sportsbook born in Vegas, BetMGM.com.
All right, so Sam, I just asked the question. I'll have you go to the chat. Which NFL team concerns you most with the Titans draft order that could ruin it? So I'll let you go to the chat. What are people saying here?
All right, we've got the Jaguars from JR, Jaguars from Curtis. Edward says Giants. I see Vegas, Jags, Giants and Browns, the Giants from Randy, the Raiders from Drew, Jacksonville from Christopher. Couple of more people coming in with the Giants. Another Raiders, Carolina, the Jags, the Giants, Cleveland, Giants and Jags, the Saints from Orlando. First Saints we've gotten. Jags and Browns from Braden. Jacksonville will beat us, says Jesse. So he's not worried about the Jags. Some more Giants people worried about the Giants. The Jags from Sports Compass here. Giants and Saints, Jags, Giants, and Cowboys. The Patriots from Devin Mills. The Raiders from Randy. We're all over the place. I think the most common one is the New York Giants is the one that I'm seeing most frequently here. But Jags are probably a very close second. Jaguars, Giants, close second for teams Titans fans are worried about.
The good thing about the Jags part of the conversation is, in a funny way, you control your own destiny. When it comes to the Jags in the draft order by playing them twice. Sam, I think a sneaky team to watch here is the Dallas Cowboys.
Whoa. I mean, Cooper Rush was
awful.
Awful.
I think the Giants and the Cowboys are very interesting because here is the Cowboys schedule. It is tough, man. They just got walloped by the Eagles. The Cowboys have the Texans and Commanders next. Then they play the Giants, right? So the Giants on, I think that's Thanksgiving, which is Thanksgiving football, Giants, Cowboys. That's what everybody would love to watch to lose their appetite. So I think that game is a big deal. You want the Giants to beat the Cowboys at that point to get the Giants to 3 wins if they haven't got already. Because then I don't know if the Cowboys are going to win any more games. The Cowboys might get to 4 wins because they've got the Bengals, the Bucks, the Eagles, and the Commanders again on their schedule. So I think the Cowboys are very likely to be a 4-win football team. So I think the Cowboys are one to be concerned about. What is your number one answer, though? What team concerns you most?
Let me tell you why it's not the Cowboys.
Right.
4 years, $240 million contract, including an $80 million signing bonus and $231 million guaranteed.
No, I understand.
So they can pick in front of the Titans. I'm cool with it. They're not taking a quarterback.
Yeah, I know that. But how many any team picking in front of the Titans that's not picking a quarterback is also a threat too because of trading.
Sure. I mean, there's a world where the Cowboys pick in front of the Titans and trade down, but I also see a world where if the Cowboys are picking in the top 3, like they're picking ahead of the Titans in the top 3, like that team getting Travis Hunter is like duh. I think Jerry would stick and pick. I'm not really worried about the Cowboys. I look at who I think could finish 2-15, who I don't see a ton of wins.
Side note, Travis Hunter going to Dallas. Give him jersey number 21. Let him be prime time.
Amazing.
In the modern prime time. And that would be awesome.
Cowboys taking Travis Hunter, they would, number one. Like every mock draft I ever made would be Cowboys, Travis Hunter, and it would just be awesome for the league as well. Like I'd be
just give him the old school Dion bandana to wear under his helmet too, and just let it happen.
I'm going to go with the New York Giants.
Okay.
The New York Giants, 2-8, but look at this remaining schedule. There are two, I think, winnable games here for the Giants. They play the Bucks, then they play the Cowboys in that Thanksgiving game that you talked about. And if they lose to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, it then is Saints, another maybe winnable game, but with a Derek Carr, they're a little bit more volatile. Those Saints are. They can pop up and win a game like they did last week. Ravens,
interim
Falcons,
coach energy, right?
Yeah, Ravens, Falcons, Colts, Eagles to end the season. I don't think the Cowboys win, or the Giants rather, win any of those final 4 games of the year. Ravens, Falcons, Colts, Eagles. And so therefore, I'm looking at 3-14, 4-13 at best case scenario for the Giants. And that is absolutely a team that's going to want to take a quarterback. I think that is set in stone now that the Giants are ready for the new QB. They're ready to move on from Daniel Jones. They're ready to give Malik Neighbors somebody throwing the ball to him. I think the Giants are going to come away. I'm willing to make the prediction right now. The Giants are going to have Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders at quarterback next year. I have zero hesitation about making that call. Look at the team.
I was just trying to think about do I want to go? I don't disagree.
I like New England has their guy. New Orleans is kind of tied up into Carr. They could probably get out of it. I don't know what the contract fully looks like. Vegas, I don't think is going to be bad enough to get one of the two.
Dude, the Raiders are one of my teams to watch though too, because like this schedule for the Raiders, they have currently lost 5 in a row, or they've lost 5 in a row. They go at Miami next week, and Miami's trying to get this thing back on the rails. Then they go Broncos, Chiefs, Bucks, Falcons. Ugh. Then they got Jags and Saints.
I could see them beating the Broncos. I could see them beating the Jags and the Saints. Like I think the Raiders are sneaky. Jacksonville, even if they're the worst team in the league, they just paid Trevor Lawrence. They are not. I don't think that's a team that would be bad for the Titans, because it probably gives the Jags artillery to trade down and like get a ransom. But I don't see it being a quarterback for the Jags. I think the Giants are the team that like is the easiest call to have in the top 3 of the draft order, that I also think is just like a slam dunk to take a quarterback.
Yeah. What about the Browns? Because that's the only other 2-win team we haven't mentioned yet. Because
the Browns weren't on my radar only because of the I don't know what they're doing from a quarterback.
Nobody does.
Standpoint.
I mean, they're contractually screwed and handcuffed, if you will, to Deshaun Watson. But I think the Browns should still take a quarterback if they find themselves in that spot, because that is the best way to
somebody with a hard schedule. I mean, for the Browns, it's the Saints this week, which they could absolutely win. Revenge game for Jameis in New Orleans. And then it goes Steelers, Broncos, Steelers, Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins, Ravens. That's a gauntlet. Now, the spin zone of it is the Jameis Winston experience is they could beat the Chiefs and like he could throw 4 touchdowns and then he could throw 4 interceptions the next week and they could stink. And it's because of Jameis that I feel somewhat confident the Browns will not be like winless the rest of the way. I think they'll pick up a couple more.
Agree.
And so that's why I don't have them high on my radar. Plus, they should take a quarterback, but
the Browns.
Who knows, man?
The best way to fix the Deshaun Watson contract problem is to kind of do what the Falcons are doing. Now the Falcons, right? You're stuck. You're stuck with Deshaun.
Yeah,
Watson,
nothing
right?
really
fixes
the problem.
No, but that's the best way to do it. At least, like the quarterbacks in the NFL that are playing too early are getting ruined because they're playing so early. Well, if you're handcuffed to Deshaun Watson's crazy ass contract that you gave him for no particular reason, then you might as well draft a quarterback in the top 5, top 10, wherever you're at, knowing that you're going to sit him because you're paying Deshaun $1.5 million of your, so many millions of dollars. Like that's the way to do it. It's the only way you can stop it.
The Browns need to do everything though. Like the Browns need to trade Myles Garrett. They need to trade
too late for that.
Well, in the offseason.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you need to tear it down. If you're going to go and try and hit the reset button on a quarterback, I support that. But like, especially when you're talking about what you're talking about, which is draft a quarterback and then sit him behind Deshaun Watson, like that does you no good with a good football team that now is rotting again because the quarterback can't play. And you've got the rookie that you just drafted 4th overall sitting behind him. Like, it's more chaos. And then by the time you do throw the rookie in, because Deshaun's contract is getting to a point where the sunken cost is worth just cutting him, your roster probably is deteriorated a little bit. Like, I think they need to I am on board with what you're saying, but like, make Deshaun Watson play with the worst football team ever assembled. Like, anybody with value, trade him for picks. Sit your rookie for 2 years. Let him like develop with Kevin Stefanski and just like practice and stuff and be your third string that's on your 53-man roster that never has to go into a game. Mm-hmm. And then eventually you move on from Deshaun, but now you've built up a bunch of draft capital to make the roster good.
Yeah. Interesting there. Look, I see some people getting deep into draft conversation. Like, I think so. Your official answer is the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants are the one team that I'm most confident will be bad and will take a quarterback. And if you're talking about how we phrased it, which is the Titans' dream draft scenario, I think it involves getting one of those QBs in the top 3. The Giants are a team that'll get in the way of them doing that.
My answer, again, my sneaky answer, but it's not my official answer, is the Cowboys, just to kind of ruin some things. But then I'm going to officially go with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a bad team with no quarterback that needs a quarterback, and they've lost 5 in a row. The last time they've won was against the Browns, and so they lost the Panthers. The Raiders suck, and so their AFC West schedule and then the NFC crossovers that they have are pretty brutal. They have a chance to maybe play the Saints late and win a game that will help the Titans out in like late December, but I'm not going to bet against it because Derek Carr revenge game, that's something that could really ruin the Titans' chances there. If Derek Carr revenge game in December 22nd puts the Raiders ahead of the Titans for something like that. So, all right. I got a couple super chats. King VC says, lock in, like the show. Yes, please like the show if you haven't already on Facebook and YouTube. Maybe Facebook's still having some problems. I've seen people talk about freezing potentially. It hasn't for me, but please like the show if you haven't already. Chosen says, why do Titans fans keep babying Levis? The mistakes we are seeing he's been making them since college. And that's kind of been my overall theme is I feel like Will Levis is the same guy that he's been in college. And he struggled with playing the quarterback position and making the correct decisions in each situation. And that's what's required of a quality quarterback in the NFL is good decision-making in different situations.
Yeah. I mean, my take on Levis has been pretty steady in the sense that I'm not wanting to cast him out or make any conclusions on him before I've seen the body of work of 2024. And my only point with the Chargers game is that there was enough in that game to leave me still intrigued and still optimistic about what could potentially come for the rest of 2024. But if there is no development in some of these key areas for the rest of the season, I mean, there is a reality that we are living in where the Titans are currently scheduled to pick 3rd in the 2025 NFL draft, and Brian Callahan will most likely take a quarterback to replace him. That is not new news to me at all, but I try and not make sweeping conclusions this early into his career.
Yeah. Chosen comes back and says, if an option, should the Titans take a QB or Travis Hunter? And Sam, I'm not there yet, but I'm thinking about it from a marketing perspective. I'm about to go Buffaloes or bust.
Yeah, I'm there. Sure.
You're there? You like that? Buffaloes
I'd
or bust?
I'd have to watch the quarterbacks a little bit closely, but I'm like, take all the problematic people that make headlines and like give me something.
I'm just thinking from the football standpoint. I think
Travis Hunter from a football standpoint is gold. Shedeur Sanders from maybe a football standpoint, but certainly from an off the field standpoint is gold. Take Shiloh in the 7th. I don't care.
Shiloh. No,
Like,
Shiloh is always doing things that you're just like, what? Why? Like, you can tell that Shiloh was the troublemaker in the household as the kids.
Dude, take Shiloh. I'm in.
Shiloh is a menace.
Chat wants to know why I would refer to them as problematic. Well, because they are Shador is a bit of a diva. I don't think that's like new news at all. This idea of, and half of it's his dad, but this idea that
comes with it.
We're not going to let him go to certain teams. The way that whole thing has gone down in Colorado, I don't know if it's going to translate to the NFL very well. I think it'll be fun though. Like, I'm all for it. I want to see it, but I think it will. It'll divide a fan base. It would be electric to see.
All right. So, before we start the show, there were some comments in the YouTube waiting room that did Austin have a Shedeur Sanders draft dream? Because I have draft dreams. The last couple of years, I've
real quick timeout again.
Yes,
Eli Manning, also a diva when he was coming out of college. Archie Manning, the biggest diva ever. It translated into good football. I think it could absolutely translate into really good football for Shedeur Sanders as well. Shedeur Sanders can be a franchise quarterback. A lot of people would tell you they don't want Shedeur Sanders because they don't want to deal with the drama that might surround him. I would say I love the drama. Bring the drama. This would make Titans football must talk, must see, must watch every Sunday. I'm in for that. So whether it's Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders, I'm good. But hey, standard is the same. Eli was also a diva, and yes, it can lead to a good franchise quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl.
Most people hear diva and think negative. Sam hears diva and thinks, yes, please. I would like that.
Divas and right. Curtis says divas are good players. Usually, yeah.
Usually, being a good player means you is a prerequisite to being a diva.
There's nothing better than lots of storylines created by your best players on a football team. That is top tier.
Okay. All right. Somebody asked, did Austin have a Shedeur Sanders dream? I did, not recently, but early in the year. And I texted it to you guys, but you probably don't remember. So I did have a Shedeur Sanders dream because I dream about Titans draft scenarios. I don't know why. It's a problem I have, but I talk through them. I had a dream that felt so real that I had to wake up the next day and Google it to see if it actually happened. I had a dream that in the draft season, Shedeur Sanders called the Titans a poverty franchise in an interview. And
I could see that. I could see that happening.
I woke up and I was like, did he do that? So I Googled it.
What was the one last year that when Malik Neighbors was on the TikTok interview or whatever and was they were like, oh, who'd you have me? He did the TikTok filter. It was we've got you going to the Titans. And he was like, he's like, wow, that's crazy.
No, but I did have a dream 2 years ago that the Titans drafted Levis. I can't remember what my dream was last year, but I had a dream that Shedeur Sanders called the Titans a poverty franchise on some podcast. I don't know, but it didn't, and he has not done that yet. So do not hate Shedeur Sanders because I dreamed that he said that, because he has not said that. I Googled.
He also, if he did say that, would be correct. So
no, they're not a poverty franchise.
Poverty franchise is not referring to poverty franchise like you're thinking of it, though.
You're thinking of just sucky franchise.
Well, poverty franchise in your eyes is like a poor franchise, a team that doesn't spend money. The
Cincinnati Bengals that doesn't spend money on things.
The way that we culturally use poverty franchise now is somebody who is just perennially down bad. Like the Chicago Bears are a poverty franchise. They're a top 3 most valuable franchise in the entire league that spends money on players, but they're a poverty franchise because they're just the Bears are going to Bears. And right now, I think Titans are borderline poverty franchise to people on a national scale.
But Shedeur Sanders has not said that. I dreamed it, but he has not said that in reality. So do not run with that. It's just a dream that I had a couple months ago when I had a feeling that we would be talking quarterbacks in November. All right, so let's talk about college football a little bit more, because we're going to do an extended shade.
I'm enjoying the game of poverty franchise or not poverty franchise.
Cleveland. Let's put that in our back pocket for a
yes. Commanders, not since Dan Snyder sold. Post Dan Snyder Commanders, not poverty. Dan Snyder Commanders were poverty.
Currently, the Commanders are going through the rise of Bitcoin.
Usually, poverty franchises, the label is nothing is going to change until ownership changes. And if you can say that about a franchise, then they're in the poverty bucket. Okay. So, Carolina, poverty franchise.
Poverty franchise.
The Cowboys,
even though their owner is one of the richest human beings.
The Cowboys, I can't put the Cowboys there yet. They've won too much. Like, they've been to the playoffs too much.
Too recently
for a team that would, like, Cowboys do this 3 straight years, they're borderline poverty. But, like, you can't go to the playoffs more than half the time in the last, like, decade and be labeled as poverty for me.
Okay, so Shedeur Sanders, Titans are poverty franchise per my dream sources. All right,
and now we have a whole topic. We're gonna have a whole game about it: poverty or not poverty.
You're not poverty. Poverty line above or below. All right, so we have to talk about this in college football because I have so many opinions, so many feelings about this head coach that has won multiple national championships doing what I think is the dumbest, most avoidable thing I've ever seen at a press conference from a football coach. But first, let me tell you guys about TDOT and their campaign to end littering across our state of Tennessee. Join TDOT's campaign to end littering and go to nobodytrashtennessee.com. There's 88 million pieces of litter across our roadways. It's so easy to do something about it. I was on a dog walk the other day, saw a Powerade bottle on the side. What did I do? I thought about this. I tell people all the time, you see litter, you pick it up, throw it in a bin. So what did I do? I picked it up, I threw it away in a bin. It was trash. It wasn't recycling, but I did it. I actually did that because I've been telling you guys for months now that you should do that to help keep Tennessee beautiful because TDOT spends $23 million a year to help clean up the litter. So we can all pitch in for free just by doing things like I did the other day, by picking up that trash when you see it. There's trash cans and recycling bins all over the place. So please help out and visit nobodytrashtennessee.com. You'll find the local cleanups near you. So nobodytrashtennessee.com.
All right. BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Listen, I mentioned that we are so back with college basketball.
You got something for us?
Well, plus 6,000 Illinois national champion future and plus 900 Illinois Big Ten regular season champion future. Maybe next week, you know what? I'll lock in. Next week I will come because people don't know this, but college basketball is where I do my damage on sports betting. That's where that's where I'm locked in. When I sit down, I watch Horizon League basketball on Tuesday nights. Like it's my thing. I'm locked in. I'll come with some picks next week so we can all do that together on BetMGM. But if you've got a future you want to place, maybe it's on Tennessee, maybe it's on the right pick, Illinois, you can use the bonus code ATOZ Sports in the BetMGM app. And with the Sportsbook Born in Vegas, you get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses at plus 6,000, Austin. Mm-hmm. What is that to 1? Is that 600 to 1 or 660 to 1 technically, right?
600.
No, 60 to 1.
Yeah, you're right. 60.
So 1,500 wins you $90,000 when Illinois wins the national championship. And if it loses with the bonus code, you get the money back into your account in the form of a bonus bet.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I would not
advise.
Got
1,500. I'm not going to advise you to do it, but if you've got $1,500 laying around and you want to do it, hey, who says no?
All right, so.
Sorry, that was really bad advice. Sorry.
Yeah, don't do that.
Maybe don't do that.
All right, so this is an extended shade. I will throw my shade. We'll have a conversation about it, and you guys throw your shade. Sam throws his shade. But Kirby Smart did something that I thought was so stupid and avoidable from a head coach at a press conference. So the story: Georgia gets waxed at Ole Miss 28-10. On Saturday at Ole Miss. The Ole Miss fans stormed the field twice, one with 16 seconds left and one when the game actually ended. And a Georgia football player, Jake Pope, was caught on a video looking like he's celebrating Georgia's loss with Ole Miss fans. Here is the video looped twice that I've gotten from Instagram. There is Jake Pope down there in the bottom left, jumping up and down, right? jumping up and down, and people freak out about this. And it looks bad, right? It looks bad. I'm not anything I say beyond this. It looks bad. It's not great, right? But Jake Pope put out there on his Twitter account that he was surprised to see some hometown long hood childhood friends and former teammates of his in high school at the game. He's also one of his former teammates plays for Ole Miss, and those people were at the Ole Miss game wearing that friend's jersey, so they're wearing Ole Miss, but they come to his games too. And he got caught up in the moment, was surprised as he was getting off the field to see his longtime friends that he has not seen in a while that were there to surprise he and the Ole Miss guy. So then it goes viral, right? So Jake Pope puts out the tweet apologizing, feels awful. And then here is Georgia head coach Kirby Smart yesterday when asked about it at his press conference.
Kirby, there's a video on social media of Jake Pope seemingly celebrating with some Ole Miss fans on the field after the game. Just wanted to see if you had seen that and what your reaction to it was.
Yeah, what an idiot. Just stupid. I didn't see it till today, but he's embarrassed about it. He's upset about it. That's obviously a childhood friend of his. He grew up and played with there at Buford and knows him, hadn't seen him in forever, but just not real smart. But to be honest with you, I don't have time to waste energy on that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like my focus is on Tennessee. I'm not worried about that.
That is the dumbest thing I have heard a head coach say on an actual microphone in such a long time. Because if Kirby Smart doesn't have any energy for this, because he's focused on Tennessee, and then also understands the story behind it and said the kid feels embarrassed about it, then why do you call your college football player an idiot for everybody to hear? Because guess what would have happened? If Kirby Smart would have said, we had a conversation about it. It's a childhood friend that he hadn't seen in a while. And, he played with him back in Buford. Wasn't real smart. We had a conversation about it. He feels embarrassed. End of story, right? Does anything happen? Do I learn about this? No, I don't hear a damn thing about it. I go on with my Monday. But no, when the head coach of Georgia football calls one of his own players an idiot, that's bad. That is displaying the behavior of an idiot. Kirby Smart's comments were more idiotic than what happened to Jake Pope on Saturday on the field after the game. Just don't say it. Just don't say it. And it's over. Like, this is bad program management. Because you know what the easiest low-hanging fruit to do is?
All right.
No. How about this, Sam?
It's Georgia football, dude.
The easiest low-hanging fruit to go is to go cross-reference what Kirby Smart said, calling Jake Pope an idiot right there, and talk about and hear Kirby Smart's words that he chose after the 25 players that he had arrested for reckless driving. And he did not call, look, legal matters are different. I get that. But he wasn't that aggressive when talking about some serious culture issues at his program. Some serious culture issues. That is where Kirby Smart was the most idiotic. So
I don't know. I will be honest. I didn't think the video was that bad.
Of Pope?
No, of Kirby. I mean,
really?
Like I get it from both sides, only because I feel like the tone Kirby follows up what an idiot with, bad choice of words, should not have used that choice of words. I don't think he's trying to come at the kid. I think he's just being like, yeah, that was stupid, and he says, yeah, what an idiot, but that's probably the choice words that he has for was Jake Pope. It's probably the words that he has for him.
Sure.
Behind closed doors. And it just kind of translates to a press conference. I don't think it was awful. When you told me about this, because I hadn't seen the story. When you told me about this, I was buckling up for him just berating the kid. But I think he kind of goes, yeah, I mean, what an idiot. But he's embarrassed about it. I know the whole story.
Call the player an idiot.
But
when's the last time you've heard a coach call a player an idiot?
I also think that's just Kirby. I think that's just how he speaks and how he does it. And I think Jake Pope probably knows that, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just think it's why I said bad program management, and you kind of rolled your eyes at that, is because Kirby Smart is the CEO, is the face of that program, right? His job is to make sure that the program is perceived as good as it possibly can be. Like, no coach is going to call their own player an idiot for that. It's if you say nothing, then nothing happens. You call a player an idiot, and now we don't talk college football in this morning show, right? Unless we're talking about bets we're handing out. But now we're talking about it. So many other shows around the country are going to be talking about Kirby Smart calling one of his players an idiot at a press conference when he hadn't done that or come anywhere close to that energy when 25 players have been arrested for reckless driving after one of the players died in a reckless driving incident 2 years ago, right? That is the problem here, is that Kirby Smart is very tone deaf. He has been in situations from the past. He's a football guy only, but as a head coach in the SEC, you got to be more than that.
You got to be more than that. Kirby Smart's the best coach in the SEC. I don't understand your point. It's not like
it's the difference of managing a program and managing.
And he's managed this program to be the best program in college football.
They have won a lot of games,
but
they have problems right now, and they've had problems, and they have had 25 players get arrested for reckless driving within the last 18 months, I think. So there are problems, and you cannot call a player an idiot at a press conference. It is an obvious don't say that type of situation. That is stupid.
I mean, I would generally agree with that. I think, like I said, bad choice of words, not great for optics at the end of the day, but
that's the point.
I don't think it was anything significant enough that would rock the boat. And I don't think it's reflective of Kirby's ability to lead a program. I think the body of work over the last decade is his resume in that matter.
Yeah, but like, again, there are not black eyes, but there are blemishes on the program that Kirby Smart is running with how personal conduct is being guys getting arrested, pulled over for things.
Sure.
And it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. And then a guy celebrates or just is surprised to see his longtime friends. Stupid, right? Like, it was dumb.
Also let's be fair here, right? Because you are going to be less impassioned by serious things that matter, that are criminal things that matter, versus things that are trivial. This works all the way, and I can provide you examples of when you and I have done it. Like, I have been far more critical, irate with the Titans coaching staff when they say something dumb in a press conference, when they make a bad play call, and I would be way more willing to bash them and way more fired up about it and call them idiots than I would after the Todd Downing DUI in 2022, because that was a serious matter, and it was a legal matter that you just, you took a little bit more seriously. I think there is a level of Kirby Smart understanding that this is just a thing that happened, and he was like, yep, that was dumb, he's an idiot, knowing that it's not as heavy or serious or something that's worth like all right. And so we do this. This is not a Kirby Smart thing. Society does this.
And Ronan, it was stupid. I agree that it was a dumb thing to do, and the kid got caught up in the moment. But you can call him an idiot. You can say that was stupid to his face, but you don't say it to reporters and cameras. It's just the easiest thing to not do.
Sure.
It's the same thing for Will Levis. Don't flick the ball underhand towards the sideline and get it picked off for a touchdown. Don't try to lateral it to Tajay Spears. That's stupid. Just don't do it. Kirby, just don't say it.
Sure.
It's not that hard.
Sure.
How many times has Kirby Smart lied to the media covering up an injury? 1,000,000 times, because that's the correct thing to do. So just do the same thing. That's my point. Just don't say it on a microphone.
I don't think Kirby did the press conference correctly. I just think you're probably making it a bigger deal than it is. And
Kirby made it a bigger deal than it is.
No, I don't. I think he made it a small deal.
No, Kirby made it a deal. I would have been unaware of this if I didn't see the viral video of Kirby calling a player an idiot. I would have never seen it.
But I don't think the tone of that video is bad. I think he's just oh yeah, what an idiot. Like, I call my friends idiots all the time when they do stuff. I'm like, dude, you're being such an idiot.
You don't call them out. You don't call them an idiot. I don't call you an idiot on the show,
Right.
especially if you're not on here. You don't do the same thing to me. It's just
Right.
like you
Right.
do things behind closed doors. Yeah, that's fine. But you don't publicly call somebody an idiot, especially
right.
when they're not talking to the same audience.
All right. This is a wild off the rails conversation. I thought I'd be right with you, and I watched the video, and I was like, "This is what we're fired up about."
Okay, all right, yeah, I was fired about it. It's bad program management, and
That should be good for you. Good for you. Look at Tennessee sliding up in the ranks of the SEC.
This has nothing to do with Tennessee. There's nothing to do with Tennessee. Yes, they play each other this weekend, and I'm nervous as hell about it. And I don't know what the quarterback's going to happen. But
Jake, what's his name?
Jake Pope.
Jake Pope revenge game. Oh, well, knock
Easy
my
there.
computer over.
Knocking things. All right, let's go ahead and throw some shade for you guys now. If you have shade, throw it. County Hyundai, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Seaman Lebanon, right there. Wilson County Hyundai. So, Sam, do you have shade? Because that was my shade. Kirby Smart.
Yeah, you know what? I had one shade this morning, which is still lingering in the back of my head. Then I thought of a second shade. And for whatever reason, it's just not coming to the top of my brain right now. I will give you the one shade that I had earlier today. Shade on Keurig / my apartment complex. Because
okay,
randomly, my coffee maker just decides not to work. And I can deal with that. I can live with that. I did end up getting it to work, clearly, this morning. But before I got it to work, I put coffee on, went in the other room, into the bathroom to wash my face, walked into the bathroom, came back, and the nozzle that was sending coffee out was spraying 3 ways like this, just wide of the cup. And so I came back to a countertop that just had straight coffee everywhere. Coffee beans, somehow like the grounds got like mixed in there. The Keurig was an absolute disaster. And then I kind of think it was partially on my apartment complex with the way the outlet worked, because I like removed the coffee from the outlet that it was on, put it in a different outlet, plugged it in, and like retried it, and it just like worked perfectly. And I think that outlet was tweaking a little bit. So
either
that
that
was
or
a disaster.
Crusted coffee on the end of it, and then it just
or
you have like some crusted coffee on the end of it.
I don't know. It was a disaster this morning, though. It was like one of those hose extensions that sends just coffee every way except the way that I needed to go, which is in the cup.
It's like you're twisting it between the different like jet stream, mist, and it's like in between, and it's just all over the place.
That's exactly where we were at with our coffee maker this morning. And so I ended up like burning a whole rack of paper towels trying to clean up just a puddle of coffee.
Yes. I'll get some more shade. The Power Hour says, don't air your private matters. That's a major coaching rule. Anthony says, you call your friends an idiot, but you aren't the CEO of a company publicly representing them. That's the point that I'm making. Now, Patrick says, I disagree, Austin. That's why these kids are soft these days and have soft filling. Can't keep cuddling kids. Cuddling kids is a different situation here. Coddling is one thing. Cuddling kids is different. So more shade. Demetrius says, shit on Texas Tech's ball boy for knocking the football out of Shiloh Sanders' hand, out of Shiloh Sanders after he scored a touchdown. Overall, Texas Tech fans were shade worthy against Colorado. I saw them. They threw a tortilla at
That's
Travis
funny.
Hunter.
Don't know who they threw it at. Throwing a tortilla, hilarious every time.
They do that every game. Like they throw tortillas.
Yeah, that's funny. I
agree.
There are some things that are like probably like a violation of fan conduct. Throwing a tortilla is just funny.
It's not going to hurt. Like it's not a mustard bottle. Mustard bottle could have some weight in it, depending on how much mustard's left.
It's like those videos of people throwing the slices of cheese on their baby, and they just like smack their kids in the face with American cheese, and the kids are like, they don't know what hit them. It's funny every time.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yes. Matt says shade on his fans football team. TJ, literal shade on Jerry Jones for needing the sun to be in his opponent's eyes to get a win, or his own wide receiver's eyes. That is also funny. Did you see this?
The sun issue at like the $4 billion stadium. Yeah.
Yes. We just built the stadium moving the wrong way because he's not smart. All right. That's probably all. I got a meeting coming up in 7 minutes, but cuddling versus coddling. That's something that I will leave the show laughing at later on. All right, Sam. You are headed down to Ole Miss. First time in Oxford?
Yeah, hotty toddy.
Hotty totty. Well, I'm sure the city will be buzzing.
Clip it. Austin said hotty toddy, clip it. No, yeah, I'm excited. I've never been to this is actually, believe it or not, not counting Vanderbilt. This is my first SEC campus. Like my first time spending substantial time in an SEC college town. So it's not even substantial time, but I'll actually get to like walk around in Oxford a little bit and like spend a day in Oxford. So
no, Oxford's very pretty. A lot of green, a lot of trees. And so they've got, I'm sure that they'll still be buzzing from that
awesome win. Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we will see you, Sam, on Friday. You're heading to Oxford, and we'll see you back at Titans practice on Wednesday. But make sure you hit that like button as well. Like the show before you go. Like the show. And we appreciate it as always. Easton and I tomorrow on a Wednesday. Buck Rising live tonight for prime time. Appreciate it.